Good to see you guys. Welcome back. Yes.
I was really excited to get back, and it was a short spurt. Wasn't going to go for months, and really keen to get back and to do some fighting.
And everyone had stayed in training. No one had kind of let it go. Everyone knew that we were going to have to come back and be really fit for these pickups.
That was the real balls to the wall, hard yard stuff.
I felt like when Thorin was in fight mode that I really became the character, and I was kind of waiting for him to emerge onto the battlefield. But like the character, I was forced to wait for that moment.
Will you follow me one last time?
Okay, nice, and get yourself stable. And you go, and action.
One of the last hand props that we were asked to build was the Horn of Erebor.
I want to herald the arrival of Thorin and the dwarves by having Bomber step up onto the parapet and blow an enormous big dwarf horn.
It was realised it was needed very, very late in the piece, so we actually had to deliver it in a matter of a few days.
Peter just wanted some giant, crazy-looking horn thing, but yeah. We explored some different ideas, like if it's made out of metal and like it's an animal horn, which I think it ended up being, some giant behemoth creature.
The scale of maybe the beasts of burden that towed Grond up to the front gates of Minas Tirith. Mona and I have been carving the horn. So Bomber blows in there. What sort of noise do you think it makes?
Oh,
yeah, that amplified 1,000 times. So in the next 3 minutes, it goes off for fiberglassing, and Mona and I will put a layer of epoxy resin onto it. We finished it maybe an hour before it was needed on set. Normally, we would make extremely light copies, meaning that something as big as that, it was almost the size of a mini car, you would be able to pick up with a single hand.
It's bloody awkward, is what it is.
Very sadly for Stephen, that was not to be the case.
And unfortunately, they didn't have time to make a lightweight version, so this was fiberglass. So it was quite heavy.
It was bloody heavy.
I reckon I'll get this on my hand luggage on the way home. What do you reckon?
This thing is huge. We quickly set up some wires to help support this massive horn.
I decided I was actually going to try and hold most of the weight myself. Even though I was a bit heavier on my hands, it gave me control of where my centre of gravity was.
Hey, Stephen, how are you, sir?
Good, mate.
It was a special day. I got a great close-up, and it was quite an emotional scene, and Peter came up to me and said, look, do you need some tear things? And I said, no, I got this. I'll use my acting.
We are rolling, so when you're ready, Stephen. Just blow some long emotional notes. Long emotional notes. Okay, good. Thank you. That's great. Hey, well done, Steve. Good.
I loved it. It made for a great moment, and in the film it was such a heroic moment.
The intention at one stage was to create this armour, and that's what they would go into battle with at the end. We just thought that they should, within Erebor, they should adopt a much more regal attitude. I mean, Thorin's the king, but the others are knights, essentially, like King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. They're all his warrior knights. So we wanted to create that imagery.
The regal armour is an outstanding work of art. Fearsome and beautiful, just beautiful. Richard Taylor and his genius crew from Weta came along with the armour, and boy, it looked good.
And your first impression when you see it is, that's an amazing work of art, really, that I get to wear. And then you put it on, you're like, I can't actually do anything.
Oh, this is so comfortable. Wow, it's like pajamas.
I can't wait to move around and see, is it kind of fight in this, because it doesn't look, you know what I mean?
It was sort of difficult to move around with the cloak and everything, but I loved it so much. I remember a lot of people saying, well, we can lose it at this point if it makes it difficult to move. And I remember being adamant, no, I really want to wear this for as long as possible.
Clearly, we made the mistake of showing that we could cope with the heavy costume in film 1. So that was almost like a gauntlet being thrown down to the costume department. After each fitting, they must have gone, I just had a fitting with Graham McTavish, and at the end of it, he was walking. Get back to the drawing board. I want to see that man crushed. So they decided to give Dwalin a light utility vehicle to wear.
If I fell over in this, that would be it. Yeah. The rest of the dwarves would just be standing laughing at me.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Oh, sorry. Sorry, I've disabled the cameraman. But,
Where someone like Stephen Hunter was kind of encased inside a tank.
Bomber's armor it's like a small boat, actually, that kind of goes around him.
Thank you. I feel sexy. You know, it wasn't real armor, it was lightweight. But it wasn't lightweight.
Wait a bit, didn't it? And the only way to rest when you're off set was to lie down in it, on a mat. And I just and fall asleep in it.
And of course, this was originally the armor that we were going to do the battle in.
I couldn't have fought in it. I couldn't have fought in it.
Whoa, no, you've got a lot. Doesn't look restricted at all, does it?
Sit.
You couldn't actually lift a weapon, be like trying to fight. You couldn't lift your arms above your head. No, I can't.
And it quickly became apparent that this was not going to be practical.
It was a great day on set when the decision came that the dwarves were going to shed their armor.
I understood that we needed to see our dwarves that we'd followed for the entire journey, and burying them in armor where you really only see this part of them was a little bit unsatisfying.
They knew that what they were going into when they left Erebor to join the battle was essentially a suicide mission. And so why do they need to wear all this protection? It's just going to slow them down.
You know, you're going to go to your deaths, really. I mean, you want to. You'd rather go to your deaths and help your fellow dwarves than sit here like cowards.
If you decide to do this, understand, you may not return.
They just get rid of defense. They cast it aside so that they're light and they're able to move quickly and do what they need to do.
They're going to throw off all this sort of pomp and ceremony, I suppose, and just make it more raw and gritty.
Get rid of that armor. Let's get down and dirty.
When we were told about this casting off the armor for battle, from a design point of view, I worked closely with Bob Buck to create a stripped-back version, so they took off all the heavy components. The garments you see them wearing is actually what they're wearing underneath all the plate armor.
That's the stripped-down version is what they run out in, because that was a more practical way in which those guys could actually fight.
Yes! It's really light, and I can fight in it, I think, so, yeah, it's a nice way to die in this.
Peter's rationale, and ultimately a very, very good one, is the dwarves going into war, their chests bared.
Lead on.
And there's something extraordinarily beautiful in that, and there's something very powerful in it.
You've got rid of all your armour. Richard Taylor's in tears over in the corner.
Yep.
Maybe
he's wearing all the armour.
Well, he's wearing all of it. He's just put it all on.
You look at a still photo of those guys wearing that armor, and it's absolutely superb. It's as good as you could ever hope it to be. I mean, it was the greatest suits of armor ever made for a motion picture. It's not untrue.
But Pete has to make those hard decisions, because if it doesn't work for the story, then it doesn't work at all, and that's why these things get cut away, and the film's better for it.
I remember the day when we shot the scene where the dwarves emerge from the mountain.
We were very aware that this was a very iconic moment. Finally, the dwarves are going out there and delivering the first blows of the fight.
Pete had laid down this enormous kind of mud track in a soundstage. I remember kind of glancing over at Graham McTavish and Jed and all the other lads, and it was such a good feeling.
Richard said, I know that you've been waiting to do this scene for 2 years, and here we are. Let's get it done.
They were ready to run as well. They'd all been waiting for a moment like this where they could finally show some heroicism.
This is the moment we've been building up to. The 3 months that we did on boot camp, the training we did all the way through it, the fight training, the physical training with the stunt guys, all of that was focused in that one moment.
We've waited 2.5 years for this charge.
We have.
And I've just told Peter to close the dock doors because some of us are worried that we might just keep running and never come back.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
This is it.
There was goosebumps. Hairs on the back of my head were standing up.
This is probably the most exciting day I've had in a long, long time. It's going to be awesome.
Here we go. Okay, guys, you're going to war. Let's hear the dwarf battle cry. Come on, wind yourselves up.
We'd all start doing the dwarf chant and pumping each other up.
It's a bit like doing the haka before a rugby game. That's what it felt like.
Here you go. 3, 2, 1, action.
Give me a sword and a shield.
Yeah, we lifted the roof off with our yell that morning. It was fantastic.
The thing you have to remember about film is it's forever. Once you've committed that to celluloid, that will last longer than you live. And you want to make sure that when it comes to the moment that it's being recorded, that you are giving every ounce of your energy and concentration into that moment. And that was a moment where we did that.
Great.
You know, the scene that we've been waiting 2 years to shoot. I think that was my stunt double. I can do it now if you like. If I charge at the camera. Ah!
When we leave Erebor and the wedge hits the orcs for the first time, we choreographed with all the fight guys and the stunt doubles a very intricate sequence.
It went from V formation to a crisscross formation, and so to show that these guys knew each other so well, that they were a tactical fighting team.
It was a dance.
There's a rhythm to the way that the dwarves fight as a team.
Look, they're having a go at Philly and Killy. Oh, I bet that hurt. Oh, look, there's Dwalin. Watch out! Oh, too late.
Maybe we should do some fighting.
Oh, come on then.
Marky Lee was Bumper's stuntman there, and he jumped in the air and double kicked a guy in the chest.
I'm kind of just breathing out as he lands on me. I feel like one of those cartoons that just flattens, and you got to pump me up.
Yeah, well, I think that sort of qualifies as a war crime.
Fantastic. It's all part of the job.
So, you know, we're doing our serious fight. This is the pinnacle of our boot camp training, and it's a very serious matter. And then the stunt guys come in, dressed like big cartoon characters from a theme park ride.
They looked hilarious, actually. The stunt team had helmets on with tall snorkels on the top.
Noodle high five.
High five?
Snorkels.
We put these noodles on their heads because that's the actual height of the orcs, because, of course, our guys are dwarves. And so, in relation to our dwarves, the orcs are going to be 7.5 foot tall.
That was to keep our eye lines up, because you want to look naturally at someone's eyes when you're doing the fight, but actually you had to raise it up.
Get ready, boys.
Come on, gonna fuck you up. Green is so last season. Get out of the way.
We are cutting a sway through, you bastards.
I'm sorry, just too powerful.
See you maybe a bit later during the week. We don't know. We'll know on Thursday.
Kiss me. Love you. Love you too.
Actually, there was a note on the call sheet yesterday which said, caution, any dwarf may be called at any time for anything. So we're in this sort of last stage of just ticking off all these little moments.
Big day today. This is it. Biggest day in Biffa's life.
We should have a prize for whoever comes up the best thing. We've got to come up with a great way for Biffa to lose the axe in his head.
Okay.
The prize for this challenge that he issued was a frozen chicken for some reason.
Not a very good prize.
Not if you're vegetarian, no. And we all ran back to our desks and to our workshops and just started spinning ideas and trying to come up with that moment that might live in the film.
This is a quest for the prize.
That was our list.
Everybody's trying to win the frozen chicken.
I think eventually Peter must have won his own prize because he came up with the idea of the headbutt.
Their heads kind of just collapse. And it's like a moment. A moment. Oh, tug of war. Who's going to win? You know. We'll keep the chicken in the freezer just for that.
It was just amazing to get to the set one morning, and he had come up with this brilliant scenario.
Biffa does a headbutt right into the bloody orc. So now you've embedded your thing into the orc's head.
Excellent.
So it should be like a rugby scrum. And you back the guy over a cliff. And then Biffa and Bofa end up on their backs, on the top there. And there is going to be a line of dialogue for you.
The big question was not actually the physical sequence of the fighting. It was like, what am I going to say?
We're waiting for his line. But I'm hoping he's going to either come out normal or even worse than he was before. It'll be one or the other.
I didn't know I was speaking until lunchtime. So I had to sort of, okay, got to get back into my accent again, because I didn't use it for a year and a half.
Today is the day where they both actually get to speak in English for the one and only time in the movie.
You know where you can stick that.
Yeah.
You know where you can stick that.
It's pretty exciting to actually hear them speak.
You know where you can stick that. 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 You know where you can stick that.
We had to give William Kircher some moment alone because he was so excited about his sequence.
You know where you can stick that. You know where you can stick that.
William was on a different plane on that day, I think.
You know where you can stick that.
You know where you can stick that.
Well, you've got one line in the whole trilogy. You're gonna, you want to make it count.
Look, let's face it, my character has an axe in his head. I've carried that through the whole films. And to be able to say a line after so long of speaking in Dwarvish and not saying a lot, it was a very, very exciting day for me.
What? By Duran, you've lost your axe. No, he's not. There you go, cousin.
And that's the first time that Bomber speaks. And the only time that Bomber speaks.
Vicky Leaf.
And he did it beautifully.
She stood by me weeks and weeks and weeks.
2.5 years ago, remember?
2.5 years ago, weeks and weeks of...
Irish?
I'm basically trying to sound like Jimmy Nesbitt.
All worth it.
All worth it in the
All
end.
worth it. Good on you.
And we'll ADR it next year.
The chariot sequence is just a gag-filled chase sequence, really, that does fulfill the purpose of getting them up to Ravenhill, but it does it in a very long and elaborate kind of way, which is really just a bit of indulgence. It is very indulgent, I have to admit, as a filmmaker, but doesn't mean it's not fun.
In the final days of the film, in the workshop, we thought we had run our course. We naturally thought that this was going to be CG, and we were lamenting the fact that we were having to wrap up everything and there wasn't anything left to do. And then we got the phone call. Zane Wiener gave us a call and said, "Hey guys, do you think you could build the chariot for us?" And it was the last thing we were asked to do. You know, this is a kid's dream come true, building a chariot for dwarves that has weapons on it. It's hard to imagine that anyone on our crew didn't get involved because it was such an exciting thing to make. The fact that our swan song in the 2 trilogies of Middle-earth would be being offered the opportunity to build something physical and pretty epic was really special to us.
We're 8 days in, we've got about another 3 or 4 days up our sleeves.
Oh my God. I mean, I've been amazed by a lot of things at that place, but that just blew my head off.
Wow. You must have such fun.
Oh, this is great. This is fantastic. This is like a dream job. It's like building a dwarven hot rod. You know?
Oh, yeah.
Hold tight, lads! So here we are on the set of Top Gear Middle-earth. So far, we've taken a Fiat Punto, and we've done some minor adaptations. Obviously, we've put on some new wheels, extensive chassis modification, and also mounted a front cannon. We're really hoping that we're going to get from Wellington to Dargaville in record time.
Nothing to worry about. Go back to your homes. When I found out that I would be at the front on this massive crossbow, shooting at trolls and wargs, I couldn't wait to do it.
Oh, yeah! The joy was palpable. I guess he was supposed to be looking angry, but he was just like, for him, it was like, I get to do this. And I know that Graham will buy that chariot toy. As soon as it comes out, Graham's going to buy it. You know, when his wife and kids go to sleep, he's going to get it out and be like, pew, pew, pew. I just know he is. He loves that stuff so much.
Sharpening. Focus on the orcs ahead, everybody. Orcs ahead.
Peter's direction from behind the monitor that day was especially funny.
Barn and blaze.
Blast, yeah, they're chopping up. And now you're chopping their heads off. Chop. There's a troll behind you.
Coming down, smashing ice.
It's, his enthusiasm rubs off, you know. That was good fun.
Well, we got a script delivery from Philippa and Fran.
Hot off the press.
Oh.
Hey.
Oh. Peter dutifully came out, read it out. Graham, you're shouting out, shoot it.
And Killy says, where? This is Philippa and Fran. And you just yell, aim for its jam bags.
Oh my God. Yes, please, God. Aim at his jam bags.
And then you're up there aiming us, and you yell back, it doesn't have any jam bags.
Oh my God. I think we should run those lines a couple of times just to get it out the way.
Action.
Come on, shoot it! Where? In his jam bags! It doesn't have any jam bags!
Okay, let's go.
Lunchtime. Going to lunch, I go over to Philippa, who's having lunch, sit down, and the first thing I say is, fantastic. Love that line. Oh, which line's that, darling? The jam bags. Aim at his jam bags. Genius. And she said, jam bags?
It's yam bags.
Wow. Great.
Fran and I were trying to come up with a euphemism for a certain part of what we would imagine would be a normal anatomy on any male species. We found an old archaic term, which we thought was hilarious, called yam bags.
And I went back and told Peter, and I've seen him laugh a lot, but that's one of the moments I saw him laugh the most. He could not stop laughing. He thought this was fantastic. I think jam bags are better. Much more descriptive. You know what you're talking about with jam bags.
It doesn't have any jam bags!
And action.
Yeah, there was an awful lot of swords in hand and a lot of fighting. I, of course, have a stunt Bilbo, Brett. He helped me on the sword fighting, fitness, all that stuff.
Working with Martin actually has been amazing. He was so good at remembering choreography and did all the fight work, and a lot of gags actually he did himself.
Brett is very, very positive, and I found him great to work with. He's kind of had backgrounds in other things, like in Thai boxing and stuff like that. So not only could he f*** you up, but he's still a really nice bloke. I mean, he's very un-warrior-like in that way. He's not like a tough guy, but he's a very tough guy. Yeah, I really liked him very much. Yeah, he was always very just up for it.
Flogging, getting a lesson.
If I see a table tennis table anywhere, I want to play on it. It's like crack. If I see it and there's a table, I have to play. And it was a good little workout.
Horse 1720. Come on, come on. Famous table it.
My makeup artist, Georgia, she didn't like me playing because, of course, within 10 minutes I'd be schwitzing like buggery, and it would be undoing all of her work, and bits of prosthetic ears would be coming off because the sweat had be taking the glue off, etc. And I would, like a schoolboy, look around, see if Georgia, because I'm quite scared of Georgia. And I'd look around and just sort of see the coast is clear, and I'd go and play. I'm not bad, and I'm determined.
Whoa, it's a lovely shot then. He refused to be beaten.
Oh, no, it's okay.
I mean, is there nothing he can't do? Oh, it makes you sick, doesn't it?
It's great how you let him win.
I know, it's very important that we do that.
It's called The Hobbit.
I was told that before.
They do that on purpose.
It's called The Hobbit. He should win.
And action. I remember filming the acorn scene very well. That was my last scene. That was my last day.
Action. What is that? In your hand.
That's fantastic, Martin. Now, if you could just pretend that you've got your little winky in your hand, we could call it a wrap.
It's like This Is Your Life. Oh, I know who that is. It's it's the guy who plays Smaug. What's his name? Oh, he's fantastic.
Hello.
I always like jobs ending. I always love it when a job ends. Even when I've loved the job, especially when I've loved the job, I want it to end. I want it to be over before it goes bad. Do you know what I mean? Like before it has a reason for me to not like it.
I think we're good.
And that is a wrap on Martin Freeman as The Hobbit. Thank you so much. That was just such a wonderful experience.
Thank you so much. Me too. Thank you very much, folks. Thank you so much. I'm tempted to say thank you and goodbye, but as we all know, it may be au revoir, but in case it is goodbye, thank you so much. It's been an amazing 2.5 years. And yeah, I couldn't put into words briefly enough what it's meant to me, but rest assured it's meant an awful lot. So thank you very much. Thank you.
You're a good man.
It's been our pleasure having you. Thank you.
They like giving presents, that lot. They're big, soppy people, really, and I like that about them. That's beautiful. He's made me slightly better looking. I'm a very unsentimental person, really, when it comes to work. And this wasn't really hitting me much, you know, like the magnitude of, it's my last day on it, you know, it wasn't really hitting me. Until Graham McTavish, who plays Dwalin, came over and said, "It's been really nice, man." His voice started to break, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go." You know, and it came out of nowhere. It was really strange. And then it does suddenly hit you that, wow, yeah, I came here 2.5 years ago with these people, and we've gone through a real thing together, you know.
See you, mate.
Such an honour, man, and pleasure. And what you have a hoodie for all your hitting the deck. But you basically did it all and came out unscathed. No, it's been an honour, mate. It really has.
And a wave.
Thank you.
On the last day, everyone was in a very joyful mood. You know, they didn't need to look for the light at the end of the tunnel, they could see it.
Well done, dear.
Happy last day.
Same to you.
So, 14 years of Tolkien finishing today. 1998. I started.
You don't look any different, Dan.
I know. I feel a little different.
We're on. Peter will show up soon and we'll crack into it. Last day. Hey, Dan.
I know. I think you find that quite easy. Our last shoot day starts at 8:30 a.m. It's supposed to finish at 7:30 p.m. I suspect we'll be working late. Whenever we work a long day, I joke with the crew that I'm just softening them up for when Jim Cameron shows up in Wellington.
Where was it?
It's on Facebook. Peter Jackson's Facebook page.
That's how we find things out.
I was awake about 4 o'clock in the morning. So I lay in bed, you know, thinking the last day, oh my God, it was all those emotions going through. And I just, you know, thought, well, why don't I just give myself something to preoccupy myself with? I think the first thing I did was filming my cat, who was saying goodbye to me on the way out the door that day.
That's brilliant. He's just getting dressed now, and he said, same clothes. And I've got a blue shirt and a white shirt. Yeah. And green pants.
And brown shoes.
At least he wears shoes now. I should...
And I just thought it's a way for all these fans that have been following our movies and the progress of our movies, you know, this was something that they can all just sort of participate in real time, or as close to real time as we could possibly do it, on the progress of our very, very final day of filming a Tolkien film. Arriving at the studio, 8:20 a.m. When I drive to the studio, I usually feel nervous and the day seems daunting. 100 people are about to look at me to find out what our first shot is. Some of the time I have a plan, and some of the time I wing it.
Yes, no, it's the very last day, and all we have to do is that. Actually, hang on, no, that's a lie, because then there's that. Now, hang on, no, it's more of a lie, because, that. And then once we've done that, we can have a few drinks and go home.
Yeah, well, the last day, Peter was shooting Thorin's death, while I was shooting Philly's death and Killy reacting to that. And we also had to shoot Dwalin trying to get to Thorin before he's killed. There's always really emotionally charged scenes on the last day.
A lot of people were probably sad, and there was a lot of people who were actually glad and excited that it was their last day as well. It ended up being a really quirky day, you know.
There they are. There's my friends. See, this is the kind of trouble that we need to get rid of. Yeah, here they are. They're very naughty. You just missed the penguins were here again.
Well, I see the traps last night. Are there any in there?
No, there was 2 sitting on the stairs.
Right.
It was just a happy environment on set. And, you know, generally it always was, but obviously everyone was pretty happy to have made it to the end.
How could you resist? I mean, we had an ice lake right in front of us.
And then stab through the foot. Oh, it should be like your pins. And then suddenly he's going to explode out.
We've been piecing together the final moments of Thorin's battle with Azog. Every single beat has to be choreographed so that we can keep it safe and I don't get smacked in the face. Well, we did have an incident yesterday where I managed to hit myself in the face with Orcrist, and it split the prosthetic.
Hey, are you okay, Rich?
I'm good. I just hit myself in the face with a sword. And our on-set medic was convinced that I needed to go to hospital because the skin had split and he thought that I might need stitches. Am I? And we got to a point where I said to him, you do realise I'm wearing a silicone face? And he hadn't realised that it was a prosthetic, which Kath Brown, the prosthetics artist, was very pleased about.
And action!
But you guys need to shift your weight from side to side, because otherwise it just becomes a bit of a dog's breakfast.
Every job I've ever done, whenever there's a huge fight sequence which is remotely dangerous, they always leave it to the last couple of weeks. I'm convinced it's because they're worried that they might actually kill the actor, and so if they do, they've still got the movie in the bag.
The thing about Richard that you have to understand is he gives everything. He had been doing this for like 2 weeks. This battle was incredibly physical. He was wearing unbelievably heavy costume.
The character, for me, was bedded into the ground, so I needed the weight, but then at the same time, I would prefer to have been wearing a pair of Speedos to fighting, but it wouldn't have looked the same, would it?
He also had the flu. He wasn't well. If it was a normal situation, you'd phone in sick probably and stay in bed and try to get over it.
3, 2, 1, action.
And I know that Pete wasn't well in those last 2 weeks either. His body had succumbed to the workload and he was suffering from a cold. So both of our energy levels were being tested.
But I just thought, God, I can't be sick at the same time as Richard's sick. So I tried to really rev myself up, to try to help him as much as I could.
So you have to go deeper and deeper at the point when you are the most exhausted. And both of us, I think, recognise that in each other and we're driving forward. So it was relentless.
All right, Rich, and 3, 2, 1, action.
We've managed to replicate that idea that when two people fight, they slowly lose their energy and that the last moments are a real slog and trying to get that fatigue into the body, which I really haven't had to act. So, yeah.
Excellent. Here we go. One more for luck.
The defining last day.
This is the one.
It's almost like the end of days.
It's the end of days.
The book of Revelation.
The very last page.
With Thorin and Azog fighting on the ice. Originally, we wanted to somehow have not just Thorin abandoned by everybody. And so we did a bit where Dwalin was seeing Thorin in trouble fighting and trying to fight to get to him and not quite getting there in time.
Dwalin is Thorin's most loyal dwarf compatriot. And so I would fight my way through 100 orcs, even if I died in the process. And that was Dwalin's thinking in that scene.
He's still clinging on to you, so you give him another one. And so we had to design this whole fight of him just gunning it and he's not even caring about what's behind him because he's trying to save that guy.
Unfortunately for Dwalin this day, it came down to the dagger. He had lost his big axe, and this was a man who was nothing was going to stop him.
And we liked the idea of it being that up close and personal. And with a knife, you're like that close to the guy, just like...
If anyone's ever had Thorin's back more than anyone else, it's Dwalin.
And Dwalin's fear, the thing he feared the most, was failing.
That would have been in the movie and was always intended to be in the movie, but it's hard and it's always dodgy to have a character failing.
If it had worked, it was, an explanation as to why Thorin's not being saved by Dwalin, who's up there with him.
But I can see why Peter isn't putting in the film, because no matter what, unless Dwalin dies, he fails.
And cut. And cutting there.
I'm really glad that that was the last thing I shot. It was very powerful for me.
Alright, that was Graham's last shot on the Hobbit.
You know, you'd gone through all of this experience, and for it to finally end on this tiny moment where you know that when somebody shouts, cut, that's the last time you'll hear that on the set of The Hobbit. That's it. It's done. And there's a little part of you that just goes, can we just do it once more? Just once more. Don't close that door on me. Don't turn the lock and say, you're not allowed in anymore. And it was kind of like a blow, like a physical blow.
All done?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, cool. Good. Yeah. It was fun. It was a great scene to end on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I knew I'd get like this. Oh, dear.
Well, we haven't started to drink yet, so don't...
Oh, it's been such a pleasure.
Oh, yeah. Same here.
When we wrapped, Peter would come and take a selfie.
Get my nose in the way.
And it was a bit like, now I'm having my photo taken. Okay. Oh, I'm still crying. You know, it's a mixture of exhaustion, emotionally spent, elation, disorientation. It's a bit like that moment where somebody gives birth and there's always somebody there to take a photograph of the poor woman who's just given birth, and they always look kind of like, what?
We'll see you very soon.
Thanks very much, everyone.
Hey, buddy.
It's crying and then it's got crying again. Oh, you're an emotional wreck, McTavish, you know that? You'll be the same.
I know.
And you.
And you'll be there to capture it all.
I'll see you.
Well, a lot of the guys had already been wrapped, so people like Jed and Mark and John, etc. We all agreed to meet at the Roxy for drinks.
We were all so excited, but really emotional. Now, I remember taking photos of Stephen Hunter and Graham McTavish and Jed saying, you know, rock star, you're a rock star. And they were doing like a catwalk down to the studio. And then we get there, and all the makeup guys are starting the party early, and we're just going around saying goodbye.
This is Jack, our friend in Canada. How do you feel about the rap party? How do you feel about that?
I'm going to be there in about 20 minutes anyway, so yeah, see you guys there. We're out of here, Rap Man 2030, The Hobbit. Let's go, baby.
It's been awesome. Thank you, everybody. Thanks, guys. I'm off.
There was such energy. If you could bottle that, I'd love to have that every day. It was just real excitement.
Happy last day. Hey, happy last day.
Yeah. You just you've got 4 sit-ups, we've got about 4 sit-ups. The race is on.
Hey, race is on.
Race is on. All right.
Yeah, but then
Whoever wins is probably going to drink all the beer.
Yeah,
so
but it's unfair. It's unfair because we'll be done and then we'll have to wait for you to say yes.
I think we should go again. Yeah, no, it's good. That's good. Thanks, Bruno.
So on the last day, main unit and splinter unit had a race to see who could finish first.
Nice!
Stay here. Search the lower levels. I've got this.
Okay, and cut.
Last line on the Hobbit.
On the Hobbit? Can I get the last line? Yes.
It's coming to an end.
Even at that late point in the filming where people usually start to panic about what they're going to get, he was still up for an experiment.
But I wondered if you actually pick up the block and just throw it, and he catches the block, and then you just step off the edge and whoop, just coming out. I think that would look kind of cool. I don't know.
I'll sell it in the eyes. It's the windows to the soul, they say.
Go plus.
Look at you.
And then body, which will just be a shape. Whoa! And then it's there that you see that it's your brother.
Action.
And body! Right, cool. Okay, moving on.
Oh, f***ing sweet. That's how you do it, Bruno.
Yes.
That's how you do it.
Zane, the end of 771 days, almost. 2 shots to go.
Fantastic.
2 shots to go.
Pushing, pushing.
It's not usual that on the last day you get to shoot the actual emotional climax of the story. Usually, you know, it doesn't happen this way, that you get to do the end at the end. That's sad. I wish the ending was different. I feel like just changing the ending to go to talk to Phil and Fran about that.
Yeah, that's good, that's good. I mean, Pete sort of wants you to land it quite unceremoniously, so...
I was actually playing dead in my last shot.
Yeah. Look at his mangled body.
How's that look for you?
Shit, you were a heartthrob in the first 2 movies, you know that? You're a fucking wreck now.
In a weird way, my death mirroring the end of the shoot for me. It was definitely easier in terms of understanding that the project was finished, because if I'd been filming like a scene from back end, it doesn't have the same feel as the final scene of the final movie.
Yep, it's done. Yeah, it's a wrap on Dean.
Thank you very much, guys. It was the last shot of Dean and the Hobbit.
It feels really strange. I sort of don't really believe it's over. I feel like I'm going to get a call tomorrow saying, we'll see you next week. I feel sad. Yeah, I feel sad.
This thing just going up and like, you're gonna ride it up a bit, you know. Cool. All right, lovely. Let's shoot.
All right, guys. So now let's walk into it. Steadicam shot.
The last shot, we're neck and neck. I remember it was a sort of touch and go as to was it going to be a main unit shot be the last shot or a sprinter unit shot be the last shot. Right, let's cut. That's good. So one more.
Action.
We were like on tracks. We were gonna beat Man Unit. There's no doubt about it.
We can do it, Splinter. Come on.
And reset, that was great.
Resetting.
Aiden knocked it out of the park into this wonderful performance, and he was like, it's gold.
Yeah, that's the last thing. Yeah. That's fucking awesome. That's great. That's in the movie, boys.
So we dial Peter and we go, hey, we've got the shot. Can you just review it?
Uh-oh, they're looking for approval already.
No, they're not looking for approval.
5 minutes passed. Then we kind of look at each other going, hold on, he's probably doing that on purpose.
All right, so they're rolling over there, so Peter's going to call in a few minutes. It's convenient for him, so he can wrap his units, then watch us and wrap us.
I had the advantage because Christian, he has to do what I tell him to do, you see, so if he looked remotely like he was going to get the finish first, I would just tell him to shoot a different shot.
Yeah, okay, but he's...
And roll. Sorry, just shoot.
That's all right. Okay, now we've got a note about the fringe.
Do you want to talk to Fran? He'd put it.
Okay. And this note came back that they didn't like the way a little bit of hair was falling across his forehead. And we were like, okay, right, how do we fix this? You know, God, what's wrong with it?
Going again by the sounds of it.
Action. At the very, very end, we did the last take with what Peter wanted.
Great, cut.
Take note of the time that we actually got that shot.
But at that point, Peter was focusing on Man Unit.
I remember Philippa and Fran and Pete kind of waiting for the moment of, how do we kill this character and how do we make it a significant death?
It's not yeah, but it looks decky down. We've got that silence on it. Retrieve you. It's just okay, my love. Eating this now.
It's like the moment when Thorin understands that the only way to kill Azog is for himself to die. And in a funny kind of way, he's at peace with that.
Ridding the world of this being was more important than his own life.
I think, Rich, it might be fun to experiment with seeing you realise that your only option, you've got to just get that sword out of its trap, as it were, and by doing that you're going to get it in the chest, you know, but at least you've got a chance to get back at him. It's an interesting, because there's no dialogue, there's no way of describing that choice or what has to happen with words. The challenge for Richard as an actor is to actually have to have all those thought processes playing over on his face.
If the audience doesn't see it reflected in the character's eyes, those decisions being made, they'll just think, well, the character just died. They don't know why he died. So yeah, we fought for that precision.
It's okay. I think we can squeeze one last one on the mag. That was a great one, Rich.
Got to go like the wind, gang.
Let's just do it straight away. We can squeeze one last one, and I'm gonna buy this one.
Yeah. No, it's a good thing.
Time we call this done. Okay, here we go. And 3, 2, 1, action. Try pushing and realise. It's okay. It's okay. And roll. It's okay. We're going to run out, but we got the good stuff. We're good. We've run out, but we got it, Rich. Okay, well done. We're done. Good.
Oh, they're clapping. Is this me, sorry?
Have they read?
I don't know. No, they're rolling, but they're on the last shot.
What was the fucking clap?
What was the clap all about?
I don't know.
I just show my playback in sight.
Don't do that. Yeah, exactly. One more take with Aidan. I really couldn't see much of a difference, and we sent it through, and Fran and Pete were like, "Oh no, it looks great, beautiful, done. Come on through for a beer." I'm like, really? Okay, that's all right.
Yeah.
And thank you, everybody. Thank you very, very much. There's no one else to say, really.
I've never seen anyone so exhausted in my entire life, but in a good way, you know, and he was still emotionally in that moment, I think, for a good half an hour after.
I was a little bit delirious, and then I actually wanted another take. In my head, I was like, Pete, can I just have one more? Can I just, I've got another one in me, can I just do one more? But we were done.
You expect to have some big, profound emotional reaction at a time like this, you know, you think, wow. But you kind of just, I mean, it's 10 past 11. And you know what, I didn't get a wink of sleep last night, not 1 minute of sleep. So I'm in a kind of a jet-lagged, weird stupor. I'm a bit numb. Yeah, good. It's all good. It's all good. I'm going off to get a drink.
Apparently, I'm suddenly realised I've got to say some words and I don't actually know what to say. You know, we have been through this experience together, and I think we should feel very proud of the film. I mean, I'm truly excited about the post-production on these next two films, which doesn't always happen. Because sometimes you finish a shoot and you think, Jesus, I've got to try to make a movie out of this stuff. Oh, don't tell anybody. But this time round, I'm really excited, and I think we've shot some great stuff. And yeah, and you know, all of you have been fantastic to work with, and we have been through this experience together, and no one else has. We all know. And thank you so much. Thank you all. I do have one official duty, which is to invite Jamie up, Jamie has a very personal presentation to make.
Jamie Wilson, he looks after the armour and all the weapons at Weta. He got this gift, and he called Zane, who's the executive producer, who's just the coolest guy. He's a big Steelers fan, and he's just, yeah, you know.
Zane Weiner, the producer, and I have some might say a checkered past, which stems back to the days of The Lord of the Rings, where we played a few practical jokes on each other.
Come up on the stage, guys. Come on.
I can take it, Jamie. Dish it out, buddy.
most extraordinary thing was when Zane is presented with the lookalike Zane doll.
And it was incredibly lifelike and just a little bit spooky and even a little bit wrong.
Complete with white sneakers and stonewashed jeans and sweatshirt, which is Zane's customary uniform.
It was one of the creepiest things I've ever seen.
The whole party was upstaged by this little weird puppet.
But everyone needs a little wiener.
And I think he's probably still cuddling it to this day. He probably has still got it with him. It's his little mini-me.
You're about to see a blooper reel, and so we have a couple of things to ask you.
I remember screening a gag reel to further humiliate the actors and for the crew to have a good laugh.
Kill them, not me!
Who did you tell about your Rosamzidek, and simply run quickly!
Let me think.
Ooh.
Are you all right, Precious?
I am.
Do you want a hand?
It's only my pride.
It kind of kept coming back to me trying to catch a mug. Oh, shit. So, yeah, that was great. And also, we were presented with our gifts.
Oh, yes!
We all got a beautiful painting of us in character.
And also, we were given the most beautiful photo of all of us in full dwarf gear.
I was not expecting anything. The gift enough was to be part of this trilogy, but now I have a fantastic photo of all of the dwarfs on our last day of shoot with Ian, Martin, and Pete.
And it was chosen because it did sort of capture the spirit of the company. Sort of like kind of a very rough, enthusiastic love towards each other.
Oh, yes,
To now say, oh, I was one of the dwarves in The Hobbit, which you say with immense pride. We went through the most incredible experiences together as a team of people. And so now we will always have that bond.
I never said anything about this when we signed on. I wasn't ready for it to end, and if you asked me to start it again tomorrow, in a click of a finger, I'd be there. The hair? No, burn it.
It's like when you're with a child, when you say, right, we have to stop now, we have to go inside for dinner, we're not going to play that game anymore. They say, let me just do it once more. And that was very much running across my mind. I just thought, I can do it again.
This is the best part of the whole job.
A rough day at the office today, Mom.
For me, watching those crew turn up every day without any of the glory.
Thank you.
They're not up on screen, but they turn up every day and they're incredibly cheerful. I mean, it's 3 years of very, very early starts and very late finishes.
I miss that community of walking in for breakfast and hundreds of people filing in and knowing, but not expressing that you're all in this thing together, you know, a feeling of community.
I'm sure there's no need to be concerned.
I want to write the theme tune, sing the theme tune.
Yeah, just had a little bit of an incident with the spider. I knew I'd make some friends, but I think the surprising thing was just how close we'd all get and how much I'd miss it once it was over.
You are just like him.
This wardrobe is a menace.
I think I can remember that.
It's been hard work, but you've won. So you're adrenalized.
Story of my life.
Okay, here we go.
We talk about Thorin and Azog's last fight, but in a way, everyone on that set was having their own last fight. They were their last push to make their work excellent.
We knew that it was the real end of the physical shooting, and so it's quite emotional because we almost worked 3 years on The Hobbit. You know, and the main thing that I remember from the shoot is all these memories that are not on camera, but behind camera.
It's not until I walked back through and I was standing on the set by myself and just had that moment reflecting. When you're back there and you're looking at it and you sort of realise how many hours you spent in there and just sort of how privileged you are to have been a part of it.
The shoot was a long one, but it was a great family. It was a great team.
We've always had the support of this incredible crew. They went on the journey with us. They really did. They signed up and they went there. They went there and back again.